Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 176 of the KISS Army Things podcast. My name is Xander.
And I'm Peter.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. Peter Arquette, the founder of KISS Museum. So it's been about a year since the KISS Museum launched, and about a year ago you were here. We had so much fun in the last episode. So welcome back to the show, Peter.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I've been here a year, and it's things have really taken off here.
Absolutely, yeah. We just had a lot of fun this morning going through and testing some KISS lamps, some KISS lights, and just poking around the KISS Museum and doing what we do best, having fun with KISS stuff. So yeah, today we are going to be talking about, well, first of all, we have some viewer questions, so stay tuned to the end of the episode because we're going to be going through a list of your guys' viewer submitted questions for Peter, talking about KISS collecting, and all that fun stuff. But let's go ahead and get to the KISS Spotlight, because usually we spotlight an album or a song, or could be a DVD or whatever, but I want to get to the KISS Indie Expo this year. We had the first Indie Expo since 2019, and you were able to come down, and we hung out for a little bit, but I wanted to get your thoughts on the Indie KISS Expo, what your experiences were, and your thoughts and stories.
Okay.
So how was the expo for you?
Well, for me it was different, because now that I'm retired, I could actually go as a fan and not have to be behind a table all day, which was different. I mean, I certainly enjoyed being a KISS dealer, but it was great just being a fan. And
now you get to wander around.
I just saw, and there's just people from literally all around the world that I hadn't seen in so many years. Paul really drew people out of the woodwork to come to this event. It was real successful, and I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, I was really happy to see Expo's return, and it seemed like, it was, that weekend was the hub for KISS fans worldwide. Well, we were there. There was somebody shopping at our table was saying that they were from, I think, France, and then their friend was from the UK, and they were KISS pen pals or something, and they had never met before, and
really?
Meeting in Indianapolis, it was like the first time they'd ever met, so that
cool.
was really cool. But I'm sure it was fun for you not being tied behind the table. That was different for me, because I was used to being the guy that got to walk around, but now I was like, I got to man the station here, and so it's cool that the roles have switched. But obviously, you're retired now, and so you're doing a lot more traveling. You're not as focused on the KISS Museum and things like that anymore. But do you still keep up with what's happening day to day / week to week or whatever in KISS? Like, are you aware of the new Anaheim release coming out?
Yeah, I am, but I just kind of, as people know, I never had a big social media presence. You could really only reach me at my website. So
right.
I still rely on the old way of getting my information just through the telephone or emails from my friends.
Word of mouth.
Not so much just searching online for stuff. So sometimes it filters down to me a little later, but I know everything that's going on.
Cool, sure. Good. Are you excited about the Anaheim release? I mean, obviously it's been bootlegged to death over the last 50 years, but now it's going to get like a proper mix and a proper release.
I remember listening to that one. That was a special show, and I was always into audio first more than anything.
Okay.
I collected bootleg audio tapes when I was a kid, and it was just magical to me. So they always sounded like crap, but just the fact that they existed was enough for me.
Exactly, yeah. It's more about the historical aspect for it.
Yeah.
But I like seeing that, they did the off the soundboard thing for a while, which was cool, but I like hearing that, these iconic shows are getting like a proper treatment. But it seems like they're really trying to capitalize Universal Pop House, whoever the mythical they is, but like they are really capitalizing on the whole 50th anniversary of everything. So next year is the 50th anniversary of KISS Alive 2, which I know is where you came into the band. That was like your favorite KISS album. So
yeah, you remember that, huh?
I do, yes. So
good.
what would you like to see, or is there anything that you would like to see them do? Like, I mean, would a box set be cool, or like does that interest you at all, or what could they do to get Peter Arquette excited?
Well, I'd like to see them have the other two tracks. It was Tomorrow and Tonight. What was the other one?
Hooligan? That was on the misprint. I'm not sure if it was on
the misprint, but it wasn't really a misprint. Those songs were... I'm sorry I can't remember the second song. Or was it Hooligan?
I think it was.
Oh, okay. So
I think so. I could be mistaken, but...
So That's because those songs are recorded and they were supposed to be on there. I mean, that's what wasn't a misprint. It was that's what it was supposed to be. I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear outtakes from the last 5 songs. Demos or tracks to that. Never heard anything like that. That would be cool. I was always into the music more than anything, and just hearing the music. If they just had like the full show, including the songs from the Alive era, the first 3 albums that they obviously cut off. To hear them play Deuce and Let Me Go Rock and Roll, for that time period, that would be cool.
What if they did similar to what they're doing with Anaheim? What if they released Largo 77? That was your first concert.
I was at that show.
Yeah, you were at that. So was that your first KISS show?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
that was my first concert.
That was
I was like 14, and it was a school night, and I somehow begged my strict rock and roll hating parents to get me to go, but let me go. But I was there.
They wouldn't let you go rock and roll?
Yeah, they didn't want me to.
Yeah, they didn't want you to, but they did.
But I did.
But I think it'd be cool if they did something like that, because, again, I'm just thinking, like, if they're doing, Anaheim, obviously 76, it's been 50 years since that. Next year, you've got Largo, you've got Houston, Budokan would be a good one. But then, like, they could just keep going, because in 78, I think fans would love to see some Kiss Meets the Phantom. I think that if they were to do something with Kiss Meets the Phantom, I heard some fans in our comments were talking about that, just as far as like something that they could do. Like, I really think the possibilities are endless.
Well, the best Kiss footage ever shot, and the only reason the Houston and the Largo shows exist was because they had these jumbotrons,
right?
And those were Largo's outside of Washington D.C., and it's really D.C.'s arena. And those are the only 2 cities that had them, and they had cameras, multiple cameras, they were pro shot for every show, not to be archived, but just for the people to watch.
Yeah.
But apparently they did archive them. I don't know. I was just lucky to be able to have my first KISS show that I ever saw, like, pro shot.
Recorded, yeah.
How lucky is that?
But I think you're right. The best footage ever of the original 4 is that footage at Magic Mountain for Kiss Meets the Phantom. That's the single best looking footage ever.
Yeah, and understand that was shot on 35 millimeter film. It was shot on cinematic cameras, not
real Hollywood,
not video cameras, or not 16 millimeter. And it was a mix between live and, well, not studio, but they obviously
it was like lip sync sometimes.
Some of it was shot live. Some of the times when Peter was drumming, you could tell it was just they had shot it without the audience.
Yeah,
but the live stuff, especially on I Stole Your Love, it was just amazing.
Yeah, and I feel like we're only seeing a sliver of that.
And more it really captured the whole feel of what a real KISS show back then was like when I saw them back then. And there's more footage to that,
That's what I'm saying. Like that stuff has to be out there.
They have to have at least full songs, unless if not, the full show. I
don't know how much you know about this, but if Kiss Meets the Phantom is owned by Warner Brothers, who would own that footage? Would that belong to Warner Brothers Hanna-Barbera, or would that belong to Kiss, or is there even...
You're asking the wrong person.
I was about to say, I'm not sure how that would even work.
But, the whole movie, apparently, years ago, it was up in limbo. There's 2 companies that thought they owned it, and the judge said, and they didn't agree with either of them, so it was in limbo, so nobody owns it.
That's so weird.
And that's why on the box set, I'm sure everybody knows this, but that's why on the box set, or the release, they did the European version.
Oh, yeah.
The Attack of the Phantoms.
Oh, for Kissology?
Yeah. That's why they had to use Attack of the Phantoms. It was because apparently somebody did own that one, since that was a cinematic release.
Wow.
But I try to stay away from all that legal stuff. It's just
right. It's just so interesting because I would love to own that movie, but I don't even know. That's so funny that nobody owns it, because I don't know. It's just how that stuff works sometimes blows my mind.
It's not even public domain either. It's it will be after a certain amount of time, but that's Yeah, I don't know. It's too bad.
I would hope that Pop House would make that a priority, since they're the big company with the big money. They got the big money. They got the people that could figure out that paperwork or buy those rights or whatever. But I think that to not do something for Phantom of the Park after the 50th anniversary would be special.
Yeah, and that's a special time for fans. You know, a lot of fans are too young to see him. You know, I'm 62. I'm a little older than your average KISS fan. So I was lucky enough to see him in 77 and 79.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of kids really got into it just from seeing that, as well as Paul Lynde, you know.
True.
Those were like the two big things that, you know, kids couldn't go to concerts. And kids didn't go to concerts back then. When I was 14 and I saw them and on the Alive 2 tour, there were not many high school kids, or certainly not 14-year-olds running around. It was all 20-year-olds, college-age people. Yeah, it was a different scene. It was
interesting. Okay.
And it was basically the same crowd that would go see Foghat or Aerosmith or Led Zeppelin, and they would just go to a concert every week, and KISS was one of them. They weren't particularly diehard fans.
Okay.
Diehard fans really popped up around you know, Dynasty era,
right?
And KISS Meets the Phantom era rather, and you know, before that it was just they were just another, you know, they were special. They had the best show, obviously, but yeah, it was just like another act. It was just they were more general rock and roll fans would go see them.
But I feel like, you know, we talk about KISS and audio, and they're doing Anaheim, and they've done all these box sets. One thing they have neglected is video, I feel like. There's not really been much video releases, and I feel like KISS fans, ever since Kissology, have been wanting more home video. And people have even talked about how awesome it would be to have like a KISS streaming service, where you log on, and then you could watch any concert you want, or any era. And, you know, how viable do you think something like that would be? Would that interest you? Would Peter Arquette subscribe?
Hell yeah, but, you know, as far as vintage stuff, it was... And considering that how visual KISS was, and that Bill Aucoin was originally like a TV
producer. Yeah.
Me and Ken Sharp were interviewing him, and he told us he was... You know that show Supermarket Sweep?
Yeah.
From the 70s or 80s? That was his idea.
That's amazing.
And we're like, wow, really? That's interesting. So he came up with stuff like that. But anyway, regardless, the fact that it just wasn't documented that well. And again, we're talking about the Largo and Houston shows that were just kind of documented by accident.
Right.
And it's just a shame, and it's kind of confusing. But you know, they probably have pro shot versions of all the reunion shows, for instance.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
And those would be special to me. I'd like to see some of the shows I was at. Especially that Detroit show. I was at the
Tiger Stadium
show. God, that was special. It was an interesting crowd, let me tell you.
Were they crazy?
Yeah.
I've seen footage. They all just seemed like they were...
The Detroit area is just a little... I mean, there's a reason why KISS got popular there before anywhere else. People there are just crazy into rock and roll. I mean, they were like lifting up the rows of seats on the floor and throwing them around, like a whole row, not just a chair.
Even in the 90s? In the 90s this was happening?
Yeah, the first show in Detroit. And it was, I don't know, it just had a vibe, like outside. It was hard to explain, that the vibe was different. It was kind of like, what's that first book came out?
The Real Story?
Yeah, and who wrote that?
Peggy Tamarkin?
No, not Peggy. No, not that one.
Well, it was written by...
No, I mean
somebody.
in the reunion era.
Oh, the reunion era. Was it the Alive Forever book?
I'm sorry, I can't remember it.
There's way too many KISS books out there.
I can't remember the author's name. One of those first books that came out right after the reunion, the author's talking about going to a KISS show in like 75 and just going backstage and just what the atmosphere was, which was kind of really after 76, 77, that was that 70s era was gone. The 70s did end kind of early. But anyway, when I saw the Detroit show in '96, it was just like the book. It was just it's hard to explain the atmosphere. Just going into the stadium, there was just excitement and people socializing, crowding around, and boy, it was a special time. And then we had traveled. I remember I wanted to see the first 2 weeks of the KISS shows, because I figured that's as long as it would last before they all started fighting and the whole thing would blow up. So I was like, man, I'm seeing the first 2 full weeks of this tour,
before it all blows apart. And
I remember the next show was, I think, in Tennessee somewhere. And it was like we were going to church, It was like the crowd was just all conservative and quiet and
interesting.
Walking up to nobody was like screaming and yelling walking up to there was no electricity outside the arena like it was in Detroit. It is interesting going from city to city, country to country, and just the venues, just the way a venue's set up really has a lot to do with just the electricity and how good the show's going to be.
Very interesting. I never thought about it like that. That's interesting. Well, we keep talking about how, the 50th anniversary of KISS, and there's always, we got Rock and Roll Over coming up, 50th anniversary, you've got Paul Lynde coming up. Well, next year is the 40th anniversary of KISS Museum, right?
Is it?
You started in 87?
Yeah.
And next year is 2027?
Really?
40 years?
Long? Yeah, I guess that would be.
I think you retired after 37, so now it's... Next year will be 40. I feel like we need to do something special for the 40th anniversary.
Well, yeah, let's do that.
I'm not sure what we would do, but I just thought about that earlier. I was like, wait a minute.
Giving away free merchandise.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. We might not go to 41 if I give away free merch, but no, I want to think about something to do special, but I thought about how awesome that was that after 40 years, KISS Museum is still... You've been around... Yeah. KISS Museum's been around 4/5 of... As long as KISS has been around, It's been around just as long almost. It's wild to think about that it's sustained... this long, but it just goes to show how passionate KISS fans are and KISS collectors are about, to me, collecting is connecting. That's the way I feel it. When you collect, you're just connecting to the band, the music, the history, and all that. So with that, I would like to get to some of our viewer questions. Sure. I had some people, I asked questions on, I posted on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Patreon. I said, everybody, ask your KISS collecting questions, your KISS questions to Peter. We'll answer them on the show. There's no way we can get to all of them, but I wanted to bring the best ones here and just have some fun discussions with Peter. So Peter, this first one comes from Rex Metzer, one of our Patreon subscribers. He wants to know, what's the furthest you've ever traveled to purchase a KISS collection?
Furthest I've traveled? I bought stuff in Europe and Japan and Australia, but not a collection, just...
Okay.
I remember going to Australia and just, they had these $2 TV guides, and I bought like 50 of them and sold them for like $12 each, I remember. Okay. And they were, and I would go to Japan and buy like 100 tour books and stuff, but that's not really a collection. But as far as a collection, it's hard to buy collections from out of the country, even Canada, just because of customs and stuff. So in the United States is really the only realistic thing. And I did buy this really large collection from California. Somebody used to work for the band, had a lot of costume pieces, smash guitars, bags of guitar picks, crazy stuff. Somebody used to work for him, and I actually flew out. I remember I flew out there just to look at the stuff because it was so amazing. Wow. But I flew back, and it was a big deal. We had to... a lot to go over. We made the deal. I flew back out and boxed it up myself. I wasn't going to trust somebody else to box up, full costumes and stuff. And they were like, they were, I believe, a lot of farewell costumes and stuff, pieces. Wow. But I wasn't, it was worth it for me just to fly out and get it. But that was, and that was also the biggest collection or most expensive, rather, collection I ever bought. Wow.
So so you went from Pennsylvania to California. That's pretty much as far as you can go from West Coast or East Coast to West Coast.
Yeah.
You can't really go any farther than that.
I might have been living in Virginia then. You remember?
Either way, that's still pretty far. Yeah.
Yeah, I started
Virginia to
KISS
California.
Museum in my college town in Blacksburg at Virginia Tech, and I've been up in Pennsylvania for 22 years now. Yeah.
So you never really had to. I guess like you said, it'd be really difficult to get a collection overseas or from Canada, Mexico.
Or even like California. Usually a collection usually means buying a truck, and California just had some really expensive pieces.
The good stuff.
And it had the good stuff.
Yeah. Well, stage used cost, that's about as good as it gets, right there, for sure. So here's another one from one of our other patron subscribers. Tom Tobin wants to know, what's the most difficult deal you've ever done? Surely not everything is just easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Most difficult deal. I remember there's this one guy God, people would write me with a list of stuff that they have. And this guy sent me this list that was like so incredibly long. It was just like a book, practically. And and he had multiples of things. Like he had, I don't know, he just liked to have a lot of, I say multiples, I mean some items he had like 100 of.
Oh my gosh. The same item?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And
I'm not even that crazy.
I guess he had money and he
I was going to say, I can't be that crazy.
He just liked buying stuff. But but it just, and we weren't, it was such a strange collection, and it was so vast and big. Like he had all the guitars, like all the retail guitars. They had all of Ace's guitars. They had, not stage used, but all the ones you could buy in the guitar store. All the Paul's, Ace's. He had everything, and it was a lot of money. And it was like almost 10 years after, I kept the guy's number, and I would contact him now and then, and we could never come to a deal. But then he finally did, and I went out there, and God, he had built like this. He had a shed. It wasn't a shed. It was like this building, like the size of a small house that he had built on his property. He lived in a rural area.
Wow.
And it was just to house his Kiss collection.
Oh my God.
Just so he could have it humidity controlled and everything. It was just a tin walled shed, but it was so big. And he had so much stuff. And I couldn't buy it all at once. First of all, I would have needed
no truck's big enough.
I would have needed a semi, and you'd need a special license to drive a semi. But I remember I took half of it.
Oh my.
Or no, actually a third of it. And then he actually drove the next third up. So actually it became easier at the end.
That's good, but still, that it took, like you said, 10 years to do this deal.
Yeah, and
that's a difficult deal.
I never bought the guitars either, because that's what our hang up was. So he thought they were worth more than they were, so I just cut that out, and then I just bought all the other merchandise, and it was, boy, that kept me going a while. Let me tell you.
Wow, that's awesome. That's the kind of stuff you like to get right there. Multiples, having multiple inventory. Have you ever had somebody like make a deal with somebody, and then you show up, and then they just completely like pull out or try to get more from you? Try and be difficult like that?
No.
That's good. Okay.
Well, there's one guy I went to in Jersey, and he just had the numbers wrong, and he was like, I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but he started to say, I said, of course I document everything in emails. I said, well, go look at the emails.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay, I guess.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
For sure.
He was just making up numbers or something.
Yeah. Like I said, not every deal is easy or can be easy, but my good buddy Johnny Grosinger wants to know, when you would buy Kiss collections, how did you distinguish what you resold or what you kept for your personal? Did you ever keep anything for your personal collection?
Oh, hell yeah.
And what was your criteria for? Was it just like whatever you wanted, or?
Yeah, whatever I thought was cool, whatever I wanted. Upgrading, I would upgrade items, like the coin stuff especially. But being a Kiss dealer, it was like having a rotating Kiss collection. Like you buy a truckload of stuff and you put it in your living room, you sort through it, and that's your Kiss collection.
Yep.
For the month, and then you sell it, and then you do it again next month. And it was very exciting. And there's stuff that I would keep that I wouldn't sell, but it was really exciting just to like seriously.
Oh yeah.
You know what it's like.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah.
It's just having van truckloads of stuff and just constantly
it's like
coming
treasure.
in. Yeah, it's like
treasure hunting.
It's like how a drug addict must feel.
Yeah, right. It's the closest we'll ever get.
Just kind of overstimulating.
It's a drug addiction that actually makes you money, as opposed to
actually makes you happy too.
Yeah, it makes you happy and as opposed to taking all your money. But what were some of the items that you were keeping? Like, what were some of the most special items that you can think of, like putting back, being like, okay, I got to hold on to this for a while? Anything like?
Just stuff that reminded me of my childhood when I was a younger fan. A lot of the Arquette stuff I liked. But just stuff that was cool, like the lava lamp. I had a lava lamp. It was newer, but it looked cool. I had it up.
Oh, Kiss lava lamp. Okay, yeah.
Kiss lava lamp.
Cool.
And, why not? And certain glasses.
And you can sell it whenever you want.
Stuff.
Whenever you get tired of it, you can always list it. And good stuff's always good stuff.
Yeah, you always keep the personal stuff. The autographs that you got yourself, or guitar picks, or drumsticks you caught, or guitars you caught yourself. God, I remember my first show in '77. I was way in the back at nosebleed seats. I remember Peter was throwing his drumsticks out, and I was like, I would die for a drumstick, and that was like so special. But then when Paul threw his guitar out, I remember he folded it in half. He handed both pieces to the person right in the center, and I remember thinking to myself, I could never be that person. That would be just too unreal. And wow, and through the years, I've caught 3 guitar bodies.
That's amazing. Front row?
Yeah, front row.
That's amazing.
I'm not that big of a guy, because sometimes you have to fight for them, because
there's
this weird mentality people get. They think it's public property, and even though somebody has it, they think they own it, and they'll fight you for it.
They'll try and rip it out of your hands.
Not all the time, but the guitar has screws and splinters and
broken strings.
Those strings that you can get injured on, but I was lucky. I guess I was around mellow people. I didn't have any problems.
But you sold those, I'm assuming. You don't have those anymore, do you?
Yeah, I did.
For sure.
It's my job, but I kept getting more. So
that's true. That's the hard part, is that obviously, we're going to see the most incredible things in our line of work, but you have to be like, okay, this is a business. I have to resell it. My criteria for whether I'm going to keep something is there somebody else out there that can love this more than me?
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that.
Like the blue poster in the background, or in the back there, is one of the only items I can think of off the top of my head that I've kept for myself, because that was from the Indianapolis show in 2012 on the tour. Mm-hmm. Last show with my dad. The monster costumes, they played Hell or Hallelujah. I heard that for the first time, so that show has always meant something to me. So when I saw that in the collection, I was like, that's never going to go on the website. That's going to stay with me. I was like, there's nobody that's going to love that more than me. But if I can find somebody, or if I know somebody else out there who's going to like it more, appreciate it more, then you have to just let it go.
Yeah, I think I've made a lot of people happy over the years, and I think you have over the past year as well. Yeah,
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so too. For many more. But yeah, it is definitely hard sometimes being like, okay, I've got to sell it, got to make the money. That's just part of it. But
you can always get another one.
But I was gonna say, you're gonna see one, and it could be even better condition. There's always something else out there. So it's part of the fun. This question is a very popular question. This one was asked by both Brant and Rex, and I think Joe from Podcast Rock City. All 3 of these guys want to know, what is the rarest piece of KISS merch you've ever acquired? Keep in mind, this is merchandise, so not memorabilia, not stage play, instruments, outfits. Like, as far as retail item goes, what would you consider to be some of the most rare?
Oddly, that seems like an easy question, but it's always difficult. People do ask me that quite often, and it's hard to answer. There's the Aucoin stuff, but it's.
I feel like Australian merch from the 1980s is pretty.
Yeah, but it's not like, when you say rare, you think of stuff that's like one of a kind, or. Actually, I do know something I had. Remember back was it Cornerstone?
The trading cards?
One of the trading card companies, they had, they would have autograph cards. They would have the costume cards.
Oh, is this the 360?
Yeah,
360 trading cards, like an 09 or whatever?
Yeah, 360.
Yeah.
And they had the costume, and actually they got most of those costumes from me.
Ooh.
They were, I thought, you're like, well, is that little swatch, is that like a real piece of costume? It's like, yeah. I mean, they weren't vintage. They were from it was part of that farewell collection I bought.
Yeah.
They bought a pair of Paul's pants. They bought a pair of jeans pants too, but they weren't really staged. They were his personal pants.
Yeah.
And there was a little, they were his pants, but they weren't a costume.
Like the leather pants? Is that what it was?
Like
I remember those.
Like a fake leather.
Yeah.
So that was a little But the Paul ones were definitely a real pair of pants. But remember, they had these autograph cards, you know, and those were really rare, and they were thick. What were they like? Did they make like 50 of them, or?
It was very limited.
Yeah, very limited. And then they had different versions of. They had a lot of variations like that, but they had one set of cards that was all 4 autographs, and they only made 5 of them.
Wow.
Like 1 out of 5. And I was a KISS dealer. I was buying cases of them. I was opening them up just to put, they didn't sell them in sets of 90, so I would have to open them up like case after case.
Like Wonka bars looking for the golden ticket.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Oh my gosh.
And, I'd get the rare cards, chase cards, and I'd pull them out and sell them separately. I'd put together sets of 90, and God, I never found one of those those really rare 1 out of 5 quad autograph cards is what they were called.
Wow.
And then many years later, and I would sell them by the case to fans, because the case had nice graphics and stuff. The case had like 10 or 12 boxes in it. And many years later, I went and I bought a collection from somebody, and he had a case, an unopened case that I had sold him many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had started to sell the boxes inside the case. I think I sold a couple of them. I opened it up, and I was like, I should really just go through and pull out all the rare cards, having sold 2 already. And so I think you know where I'm going here. So I'm just opening them, and it's just all routine for me. And here's an autograph card. Here's a red foil card. They had different versions.
Yep.
Then I had this one, and I pulled it out, and it was really thick. And I'm like, an autograph card. Because in the autograph card, you could tell because the packages were like thicker, and you're like, So I opened it up, and it had 2 autographs on it, and I was like, that's weird. Do they have like double autographs ones? Then I turned it over, and the other 2 were on the other side.
Gosh, you've got one of the 5.
And I was like, and it was so thick, and I was just like, and like you said, it was absolutely no different than Willy Wonka opening up that chocolate bar.
Literally 5 golden tickets.
It was just one of the most unreal experiences
that is amazing.
Of my life. I just couldn't believe. I really thought I was dreaming.
Wow.
And I sold it for a lot of money.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
I sold
only 5 in the world.
I sold it for $6,200.
That's how you do that right there.
These 2 guys were fighting over it. It was funny.
That's amazing. So there you go. One of the rarest pieces, and these are the 4 original members, right? These are Gene, Paul, Peter, Ace.
Yeah,
original.
Even though it's not vintage, it's that would have been the most rare piece I'd ever come across, and with a fun story too. Yeah.
I kind of wish they would do another trading card set like that, because they did, and then the reunion tour, and then they did around Live 35 Sonic Boom era. But other than like the little off the soundboard 4-pack, novelty, whatever, there hasn't really been any awesome trading cards. And I think that they could do some really awesome stuff. I mean, they could still do autographs and swatches and things like that. Yeah. Like they could attach stage used guitar picks to them and things like that. But just even like foil cards that shine in the light, like it's 2026. Card games are still very much around. I mean, Pokemon and Magic the Gathering. I would love to see some KISS trading cards come out, and let's recreate that magic.
Yeah, and trading cards are like a no-brainer. It's like, because there's crossover, and people that are not KISS collectors will buy them also. People that are just card collectors.
Oh, true.
And KISS fans love it more than anything. And to tell you the truth, I never really did a license myself. I would look into licensing shirts and things, but it just never was quite my thing. But I was, near the end, and I still might do it. There's a guy that does licensing for movie props mostly, but he knows how licensing works. And we had developed this really good idea, which, God, I wish I could tell you, it was such a good idea for trading cards. And it still might happen.
Pitch it. That'd be great.
And, it's...
I love it.
Oh, the idea, if you saw, and it would be more for fans, not for the general card collectors, but if you saw what we were doing, you would just go out of your mind. It was like, it's a totally unique, something totally different and better than anything that'd been released. So
pitch it to Pop House. I bet they would love to.
I'll tell you after you.
Okay, great. Yeah, there you go. I get to know, but
sorry guys.
That's awesome. No, I
can't tell you everything.
But hey, when it happens, you'll know. On episode 176, we talked about the KISS trading card set. So if it happens, you heard it here first. But that, yeah, definitely keep pushing that because I would love to see that for sure. Let's see, this one, this question comes from Edward Braswell, who says, I know throughout the years, Peter's had quite the stage-worn collection, so talk about that. That would be cool. Yeah, so you mentioned some stage-use costumes earlier. What are some of the stage costume pieces that you've had? I know you said Psycho Circus, Farewell Tour.
Oh, God. Alive, from 75.
Oh, you've had the 75?
76.
How'd you get a hold of those?
Well,
if you're allowed to tell.
Well, let me tell you.
Here we go. Story time.
I can tell you most of it. Well, back before the internet, there was the best story was in L.A. As a lot of people know on the West Coast, and there's an L.A. record store that had these 5 costume pieces. One of Ace, Gene, Peter, Paul, and Eric. In their store, and they wanted $5,000 for all 5 of them, and we were kids. We were like in our early 20s, and we didn't have any money, and we'd be like, I always lived on the East Coast, but I would travel there, and I had a lot of friends who were KISS fans on the West Coast. We'd go to LA, we'd go to that shop just to look at them, wow, and we'd be like, well, can we just buy one of them? Because maybe we could afford $1,000 for one of them. The guy's like, no, I got to sell them as a set. I'm like, what's that stupid mentality?
You don't have to, but okay.
And yeah, you make this, I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'd be like, well, I'll give you $1,200 for one of them. And he's like, nah, and, we couldn't afford anything more than that. That would put us in debt for years. But years later, my friend Bill Baker, Bill was really in tune with pop memorabilia in general. And, this is before the internet, so it wasn't that circulating that well. You kind of had to be in the know. And he said, the Sotheby's auction house is selling some items, KISS items. He says, I can't afford to do it right now, so why don't you go get it? I was like, cool. And I looked in the catalog, and it was those 5 pieces from that store. The guy never sold them. Wow. And he thought he was going to make a mint selling them, through Sotheby's. And so I drove up to New York from Virginia. I registered with all the snooty New Yorkers, just a bunch of rich people in the audience, like people from the Hard Rock Cafe, just collectors,
of course, yeah.
Rich collectors and stuff like that. There's a lot of Beatles stuff, and these old people were bidding a lot of money on, and Elvis stuff. And boy, I got those pieces for like a fraction of what they were originally going for, and I was like, oh, it was great. And then there's another auction at Sotheby's in New York where they were selling Paul's Love Gun jacket and vest and some other stuff. And boy, I remember that went for like, I think I got them for like $7,500. And I was only bidding against, there's this lady from she was obviously from the Hard Rock. She was buying stuff, the Hard Rock's always there. She was buying, you could tell what she was buying. That's who she represented. And I remember, she bid $77,000, I bid $7,500, and then she's just like, yeah, right, $7,500. Like how could those 2 pieces actually be worth that much money? And there's more stuff that came with it, smaller stuff in that lot.
Wow.
And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I can't believe I got it this cheap.
You just got away. Yeah, wow. That's amazing.
And yeah, even back, and that was many years ago. That was back in the 90s still. And, today that you can only imagine what it's worth,
What year was it when you were looking at those 5 pieces for $5,000? What year was that?
Oh, that was in the 80s.
That was in the 80s. Okay. Do you think even in the 80s, those 5 pieces for $1,000 a piece, was that still pretty low? You think from your fan perspective, mine, or were you just thinking, I don't care, I'm a fan, I just want to buy it, have a piece?
At the time, that was it's kind of like KISS collectors didn't have that much money, so it's worth as much you can pay.
Right.
But yeah, at the time that seemed reasonable, but we could really only maybe afford one of it. Or
But you were thinking just from a fan, like, I just want to own a stage worn car. You weren't thinking, oh, I can make $2,000 off that and double the money.
Oh, no.
You weren't really thinking about that yet.
No, no, it was magic. No, I wasn't looking at it as an investment.
I see.
Just to have a piece that they were wearing on stage, that would be just so amazing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And there was stuff that other collectors had. I had Gene's armor for a while. Ace sold me his, and the same guy, Bill Baker, called me and says, yeah, he says, Ace wants to sell his Alive costume.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah? And I think it was the same thing. He said, I was buying a guitar from him, but I can't buy everything, and why don't you buy that? So he had Ace called me up, and he's like, yeah, you know, I got the costume from the cover of the Alive album, and I want $5,000 for it. I was like, okay.
Done.
And so we did the deal. He FedExed it to me.
What year is this? I'm sorry to interrupt.
This would have been, damn, I don't know.
90s, 2000s?
Probably the late.
Was he in KISS or was he out of KISS? Yeah. I would assume he was out of KISS.
I think it was before it must have been the early 90s.
Early 90s. Okay, so it's before the reunion tour. Okay.
Now, it was definitely the costume he wore in the album, the Alive cover. There's the studs all matched up, but he had converted it to it's a long sleeve on the album cover, and then had been converted to a 3/4 sleeve. Then he had a second one that was like a short sleeve. I think it's just because it got in the way of his strings when he was playing, because it had the silver cuff around it.
Right.
So they had to cut it back, but it was strange. But it was definitely the exact same one, because the studs on it always match up like a fingerprint.
Wow.
And that was nice, because first of all, it was on an album cover, and second, I got it from him directly.
Wow.
That was a fun piece.
Kind of makes you wonder where all this stuff. I mean, I'm sure it's in private collectors' homes, but like, you think this stuff is still out there? It's got to be.
I don't know. Costume pieces don't really
they don't pop up very
circulate. Often. Well, there's at least 3 people that kind of suck them all up. 3 black.
I can think of one.
three black holes.
Yeah.
As I call them, they suck up the big pieces, and I remember. Oh, and then there's the was it the California auction?
The Butterfield in New Jersey?
Yeah, Butterfield.
Yeah, New Jersey.
It was in L.A.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought it was New Jersey.
And that was fun. I got like some small stuff, like, boxes of general merchandise. Had some albums and tapes and general merchandise. The only costume pieces I got there were the Kiss Meets the Phantom robes.
Oh, wow.
I used to own all 4 of those. And for some reason,
that's some rare merch.
Even those weren't stage costumes. There's something really special. And each of them had their name in the back. So they were tailored for each person. And they weren't cheap. They weren't like off the shelf. They were specifically made for that movie. Mm-hmm. And they had lining. And they were heavy, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They were very well built. They weren't just like props. And you could wear one to the pool yourself if you wanted to. And I owned all 4 of those at once. That was like so exciting.
That is amazing. And somebody else out there probably does right now, or at least has one of them.
Yeah.
The fact that they're still around.
Yeah, I think I sold 2 of them to one person, then 2 of them to 2 other people. So they got split up, but
But they're out there though.
Yeah, they're out.
Man, it makes you wonder where all that stuff is. But that's really cool. Yeah. So Tim Finnerty commented in reply to that and said, I can think back to years ago in the parking lot of Hammerjack's nightclub in Baltimore where Peter had Ace's Love Gun armbands and he let me try them on. You remember that?
Yes, I do. Tim Finnerty, one of the coolest KISS fans I know.
Wow. There you go, Tim. Shout out from Peter Arquette.
Yeah, and it's when I was I lived in Virginia at the time, and I was driving back from New York with those 5 pieces I had just told you about.
Yeah, okay.
So the 5 pieces were Eric Carr's Fox belt, Ace's cuffs from Love Gun, Peter's cuffs from Love Gun, Gene's choker from Love Gun. Oh, that was nice.
Wow.
And but then it was Peter's choker from 76, and they had mislabeled it as Paul's choker. So there's really 2 Peter pieces and no Paul piece. The auction house just
made a mistake.
They made a mistake. What
do
they know?
We're all humans, yeah.
But hey, Peter choker, Paul choker. What's the difference?
Original KISS member, yeah, 70s costume piece.
And that Peter choker was beautiful too. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It was more elaborate than Paul's, a lot nicer than Paul's anyway. But yeah, so we go down, and there was some show, Hammerjacks, if those who don't know, that was like a legendary club. KISS played there in '92 on their club tour. And it was,
okay, yeah.
Some people say that was, even though it was a non-makeup show, people say that was the best KISS show they've ever seen.
Yeah.
Hammerjacks was a magical place. It was hard to explain. But anyway, so I had the stuff locked in my trunk of my car, and my friends were... I had a lot of Baltimore friends. I had a lot of friends in Baltimore, New York, and New Jersey, even though I lived in Virginia. Just being a KISS fan, that's where all the big KISS fans and collectors and dealers and conventions went on. So I spent a lot of time up there. So I got to know all the big KISS people, fans in that area. And so, yeah, I remember I told Tim, I was like, hey, I got a surprise for you to show you. And go to the trunk, and I opened it up, and check this out. He was like, what? I couldn't believe it. And so Tim's like, oh, you don't mind if I try them on? I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, my gosh.
So he tries on Ace's cuffs. He's looking at him. He's like, oh, great. And I'm like, okay, well, time to give him back.
Yep.
You're not going home with it. And the bastard, his hands were so big, they wouldn't come off. They were, like, stuck on his hand. He's, like, pulling them. Like, I was like...
Do not tear this.
I was like, be careful.
Oh my gosh, I'd be so nervous.
I was seriously thinking he was going to have his arms amputated. That's just like, I was like, oh man.
It's like a ring, it's stuck and you can't get it off, but it's like you have to because...
but it all worked out. Man.
That's funny though. That's funny. So Tim actually has a question as well. Tim says, will there be an East Coast convention in the near future? Peter always puts on a great time. So there's not going to be a Peter Arquette New Jersey KISS Expo this year, but there is something happening in New Jersey next month in September. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, there's a really cool, I think just as cool as any Jersey KISS convention. My friend Bobby Getchel's putting on it's called the Spirit of 76 Expo. Look it up online, Spirit of 76. Now, it's going to be a celebration of basically the 70s. KISS being one of them. But what it's centered around, and I'll get this, it's so cool. He spent the last several years building a one-to-one reproduction of the Destroyer stage.
Incredible. Using actual blueprints, right?
Yeah.
Using actual blueprints.
I mean, now this guy knows what he's doing. He's not just some schlub. At first, Bobby, what's the name of his tribute band?
Is it Dress to Kill?
Dress to Kill.
Yeah.
Sorry, they all blend. There's so many.
There's so many, yeah.
Dress to Kill, of course. So he does Paul Stanley. He's a veteran tribute guy. He had this vision of doing, for the 50th anniversary, rebuilding the stage. The stage is 80 feet wide, and it's not like, and again, it's a one-to-one. It's just a tribute band playing, but on a full stage. And as you know, there's not that many pictures of the Destroyer stage. And
I've never actually seen the full thing.
It's very elaborate with the the lightning bolts and the clouds and the little lair for Gene and this and
so many props.
It was very elaborate, but for whatever bizarre reason, not many photos of the stage. They were all close-up pictures that you would see.
Mm-hmm.
So he got the original blueprints from the company that built it. Like, he knows how to do his research. He knows how to get things done.
That's insane.
I was at his house. I saw like a quarter of it set up, and it was like so huge. It was just the small section he had set up. It had steps that went up into the back, and you could go up in the back, and it just looked like the real thing. He's had professional artists paint it. You know, it's made out of plywood, obviously. The original one was also. And it's an honest to God, you're going to get to see it September 12th.
Yep.
You're going to get to see a reproduction of that stage. Like, there's no video of it, nothing. I'm so excited about it. But there's also going to be dealers there selling KISS merchandise. It's basically going to be like a KISS Expo.
Yeah, it's a KISS Expo in New Jersey. So
yeah, but it's centered around more of a 70s theme. There's going to be people selling 70s toys and stuff like that. So he's trying to expand it a little out, but still the center of it is going to be this show, and I'm so excited about it.
And it's taking place 50 years to the day when KISS played at Roosevelt Stadium in New Jersey, right?
It is, yeah.
So it's celebrating, the Destroyer tour, the Destroyer era, Spirit of 76. So yes, if you are, whether or not you're in the New Jersey area, if you're looking for some KISS fun this fall, next month, September 12th, at the Williams Center, right, in Rutherford, New Jersey, is that where it's at? Yeah. So check out spirit76expo.com, and then you can also go on Facebook and check out the event page. There's more details in that. But yeah, so I'm really excited. I haven't gotten my tables yet, but I plan on getting some tables, being a dealer, setting up, bringing KISS merch. I had some awesome events in the spring. I haven't had anything in the fall, so I'm really excited to be there. I know you're going to be there, and I'm sure some of your friends are going to be there as well.
Everybody's going to be there.
Everybody's going to be there.
It's something you just don't want to miss. You're not going to get an opportunity to see this again.
This is as close. It's not a Peter Arquette New Jersey KISS Expo, but it is a New Jersey KISS Expo. It's just as good.
Yeah.
You're going to see something that you've never seen before, and you will never see again. And that's the one-to-one Destroyer stage, Dressed to Kill's never performed.
Yeah, I'm helping out, but I'm not. It's not my event. No.
Right? No, it's not your event. But it's still really cool. So Tim and anybody else who's been wondering, there's been a lot of folks actually asking ever since the Indie Expo. Everyone's like, all right, so when's the next New Jersey one? Well,
now you know.
Now you know. There's a Spirit of 76 Expo happening September 12th in Rutherford, New Jersey. Get your tickets now. Come see KISS Museum. Come see Dressed to Kill. Come see the Destroyer stage. It's going to be awesome. So this was just announced today by KISS. There's an official KISS Fan Expo happening in Germany on October 30th. They were teasing some official KISS Fan event on Facebook saying, hey, coming soon, save the date, whatever, but nobody really knew what it was. So today it was announced that in Dusseldorf there's going to be an official KISS. I think it's labeled as a KISS Fan Celebration. So it's not really an expo, it's just called KISS Fan Celebration. But
yeah, I had heard about that. I had actually gotten invited to that. It wasn't clear what it was going to be. What I was told, and this is new, I just heard this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know the announcement today, but I had heard a few weeks ago, it's centered around the re-release of the German KISS. The German KISS label is going to re-release all the KISS German versions of the KISS albums.
Oh, wow.
And that's what it's centered around.
Yes, okay. That makes sense. Very cool.
I guess they're going to reprint the albums with the German logo and everything else, and it should be interesting. And, I think I'm going to be there. I'm not 100%.
Really? Oh, fantastic.
I was supposed to go to Amsterdam anyway.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And I'm just going to adjust my vacation maybe a couple weeks later and go myself. But I'm not really sure, but...
For sure.
Boy, I'd like to. That would be exciting.
Yeah, it really is. So I had no idea. I knew that this was happening, but I had no idea that they were doing the re-release for the German albums. I noticed that it said that the event is being sponsored by Universal Music Group Germany. So it sounds like, I wish they would make more of a mention of that, because right now all we know is Tommy Thayer's a special guest. He'll be there for photos and autographs, and then Doro Pesch is going to be there, famous musician, European musician. She'll be there, and I think which tribute band is it? Rock and Roll Over or Rock and Roll Forever? I don't know. Some KISS tribute band's going to play, so it's a KISS Expo. But yeah, they haven't mentioned anything about the re-release of the German albums, and I wish they would, because that would get some folks excited to hear.
Maybe I should have kept my mouth shut.
No. Again, you did not know about the official announcement. I didn't know about that, so that's just good information to know. But I think that would be exciting for even fans here in the States, to get the re-release of the German albums imported. Are you kidding? That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's very cool to see. So yeah, between There's even Vegas in November. You got Vegas in November. You have this Spirit of 76 in September, and now you've got this German event in October. I mean, there's no shortage of KISS fun happening. Keith has already talked about how he wants to have an NJ Expo next year in April, same time. He's already got the place booked. So hopefully in a year's time we'll be back there in Indianapolis doing the same thing again.
Looking forward to that.
Hopefully everybody else out there is. But it's just really exciting. I think I know that KISS is not on tour, but it's really great to see all this excitement happening. Yeah. The release of Anaheim and all this cool events. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I had no doubt that, just because KISS isn't touring doesn't mean shit isn't going to be happening.
Oh, yeah, no, if anything, it means more.
Yeah, they have more time to do stuff like this.
For real, yeah.
Yeah, the band is definitely not broken up. It's a lot of fun stuff. I'm really glad that they're not fading away.
No, they didn't just drop off. It sounds like, they talked about, that was the first 50 years of KISS. Now this is the next 50 years. And it sounds like this next 50 years is just going to be a celebration of everything that came before it. If they're doing celebrations for 77, 78, 79, I mean, we can keep going. 81, 82, we can keep going on and on and on until, the 100th anniversary in 2073, Maybe there'll be something for that. But it's just, I don't know. I'm glad to see that the KISS Army is still just as active as ever when it comes to the events, the collecting. I want to get to now the Collector's Corner. Because usually on the show, I share items that I've added to my KISS collection. It's been slow. I'm still waiting on, again, things like the Anaheim release. There's a new sticker book coming out. There's a new Dress to Kill figure set from NECA. They're releasing new NECA figures. So there's all kinds of stuff coming out. But right now, I haven't really been adding anything to my collection. So I thought that we could do what we did last time, and that is show some things from the KISS Museum. Now, the last time we were just teasing you guys about what was going to happen on the relaunch, showing you all the good stuff. So admittedly, I've sold a lot of the good stuff. But I have two items here I want to show you just for fun.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but this made me laugh. This clearly unofficial KISS walkie-talkie set. You have seen this?
No, I haven't.
You have not? Oh, okay, great. So, well, if it helps, neither had I.
In my dreams, maybe, but...
Yeah, it's funny because it even, on the bottom, I think it tries to say 1978. It's almost like a pulling out KISS merch from an alternate universe, where maybe in 78 there was an official walkie-talkie set, but no, it looks like, I'm not sure how this fan did it, but...
Kind of a feeling I know who did this, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
That'll be for after the show as well. Yeah, so I don't know if they were really trying to pass it off as... it says made in Hong... Now, do you really think it was made in Hong Kong, or do you think it was...
No, it's... No, they're not, they're not trying... They're trying to make it look real, but it's a real fake thing. It's
yeah.
They're not... No, of course they're not trying to...
I thought it was super cool and super neat.
Yeah, I mean, I love stuff like that.
Yeah, obviously it's not real. Now, there was something else I had recently that maybe I should have, if I had known you would be here, I would have kept it. But there was a KISS microphone, and it was not. I think there was a prototype release, maybe, or a very limited release of the KISS 1978 microphones, a toy. Uh-huh. Yeah. So this was like a knockoff, make fun of version of that. Where it was just literally a microphone where somebody taped the KISS logo onto it. But they made a cool box for it. They sold it. And I ended up selling it, but yeah, it was one of those items that's made to look like vintage KISS merch, but it actually isn't. But having said that, it still looks like it was made a long time ago. I mean, I don't know.
It does.
I don't know when this was made. But
it does not look modern, no.
But just the way it looks, I think, is super cool. So I haven't obviously done any research on it. I don't know what the price point would be, if it's worth anything, if it's worth a lot. I'm sure it's I'm sure we can. Figure that out. But I thought I would at least show you here because, yeah, I'd never seen it. Neither had you. So, cool. I'm glad I was able to surprise you with a cool item there. This next item might look familiar. Oh. We took a look at this last night.
Oh, yeah.
We were going through some stuff in the KISS Museum, and I happened to find this poster, and we talked about it for a minute, well, is this... official? Is it original? What is this? Is it a reprint?
It's hard. People do reprints of a lot of stuff, unfortunately, fortunately, however you look at it. But if you know anything about printing, you look closely, and the little printing dots
you can see the pixels
are on there. the very small fine one, and when you try to reprint that, they get muddy and they get, you can tell they get fuzzy, but they're razor sharp, and looking with a magnifying glass, you can see that there's no degradation to the printing, and it really looks like it was done, from an actual print rather than a photographic reprint.
Yeah. And we were wondering, we're thinking, is this original? So I went ahead and, as you can see, I took everything off of it to see what it is. I think this is original. And there's one major tell that makes me think that this is from the 70s, and it's because, look at this. April 19th, 1975, Billboard.
Oh, it's a billboard.
This is a billboard.
Oh.
This is a billboard ad for Dress to Kill from April 1975.
Well, obviously it's real then. Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, we didn't see the back yet.
Yeah, no, we hadn't pulled it out, but when I took out this morning, before you came in, I was like, I kind of want to just open up and look. And when I saw the back of the newspaper, and I realized...
Yeah, we were thinking it might have been like a poster to advertise.
Yeah, we were thinking it was like
you put up in a club or something.
Yeah, there was a reprint of this ad, I think, included in the box set for Dress to Kill last year, and it was blown up like, 24 by 36 or 36 by 48, whatever, so... I was thinking at first, well, maybe this is just like, again, a smaller reprint. Because this right here behind you, this is a clear reprint. This poster was never that size. But it's a 1-to-1, miniature. Not a 1-to-1, but it's a replica miniature. So I was thinking this was the same thing. And when I saw the back, I was like, that's the real deal. So I'm pretty excited about this. Because I've never seen an official... original billboard ad for Dress to Kill. So that's one exciting thing that you guys can expect to see coming soon on Kiss Museum. But anyway, so that's how I wanted to end it, with showing you some really cool fun.
Oh, thanks.
Some Kiss items. I like surprising you, since you're obviously the expert. You've seen most everything. So, but as you know, the best part of the job is finding items that you've never seen before, or never even existed.
There's plenty of stuff I've never seen, even though that was my job for almost 40 years. There's so much stuff I've never seen. I'm still surprised.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I always thought, even though I know I never saw everything, I've thought that from the modern era, at least, I thought I had seen, most everything.
Oh,
and then,
hell no.
because I try to keep up with everything that's coming out in the 2020s, but I've already seen stuff that I'm like, well, this missed me. Where'd this go? How did I hear about that? So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Thank you, Peter, for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
It's always great to have you down. You're welcome here anytime.
Thank you.
So thank you guys so much for watching, for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Follow us right here on YouTube. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And then if you want to, subscribe to our Patreon for some fun behind-the-scenes access. But yes, thank you so much, Peter, for joining us. It's a lot of fun. I think it's time that you and I go and get some lunch.
All right.
I need something to eat. So thank you guys so much for being here. We will see you in the next episode. This is episode 176, celebrating the spirit of 26. We'll see you next time, episode 177. My name is Xander.
I'm Peter.
You guys are the KISS Army. We appreciate you being here. Peace out, rock on, and take care.